Hi, I'm Nick Preignitz with Duramaxtuner.com. I have Bob Petersen with me today, and we are going to take a question from Jeff Kuntz for our DT Q&A session. Jeff wants to know what a P0087 code is, what causes it, common failures associated with it, and some steps to narrow things down, figure out exactly where that's coming from. So let's start with the easy stuff.
Yeah, it's a very common question we get.
It is.
And it is actually a pretty loaded question, though. There's a lot of common things that can be associated with that code.
Yep.
The first thing we definitely want to diagnose is the low pressure side of the fuel system. So
Let me stop you first and just tell everyone what the hell is it? What's a P0087?
Oh, okay. 087 is low rail pressure.
Gotcha. Low rail pressure means that your engine is not getting the fuel supply that it should.
Correct.
So there's two fuel systems on the truck, essentially, low side, like you mentioned, and the high side. Low pressure operates it could operate in vacuum up to 10, 15 PSI, and the high pressure side can go up to 23, 26, 29,000 PSI.
Correct.
So carry on, Bob.
So
how do we troubleshoot this low side?
I mean, the first question I'm going to ask a guy is, does he have a lift pump on the truck?
Okay.
Because that's obviously going to be supplying pressure, like you said, to the
Yep.
CP3 pump
Yep.
rather than vacuum.
Yep.
So if you have a lift pump, you just can test, make sure that it has 8 to 10 PSI at idle,
Yep.
and that it's getting fuel to the pump. If you don't have a lift pump, you're going to want to diagnose the low side vacuum by
Cool.
the fuel filter.
Cool.
Nice
thing about, let's go along with that. But nice thing about a lift pump is if you do have a leak in the low side, you're going to find it right away. I mean, you're going to see fuel leaking under the truck. You're going to see it leaking out of the fuel filter housing.
Yes.
If you don't have a lift pump on the truck, then this system operates under vacuum, and it has the potential to pull air. And that's why GM put this, and draw your camera right here, GM put this test port on here so we can test how many inches of vacuum this fuel system pulls under load. And what you want to do is get the gauge, hook it up here, and run the truck at full load. It's nice because we can do it on the dyno. If not, you can run the gauge out or tuck it up under the windshield wiper. It's a nice, easy way to do it. But what you're looking for is 5 to 8 inches of vacuum under full load. If you're any more than that, then the system has too much vacuum on the low side, which can be caused by a restrictive fuel filter, something in the pickup, pinched line. Help me out here. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much covers it.
Okay. Most common, I would say, is fuel filter. I mean, especially guys who are new to the diesel. If I can get you over on the passenger side of the motor, you can see this is the factory fuel filter. If you bought the truck new or used from someone recently, replace the damn thing. You're talking 30, 40 bucks to go to Napa, replace it. After that's replaced, that's usually my first step troubleshooting one of these things. Replace the fuel filter. If the fuel filter is fresh and we still have an 0087 code, then where do we go?
High pressure side. So we're looking to go from the pump injectors, the high pressure side of the fuel system.
Okay.
If it depends on the year of the truck, a very common thing is the fuel pressure relief valve, I would say, after that fuel filter.
Yeah.
So here's your plug. This goes in the back of the rail, which is on the driver's side of the motor there. This motor happens to have a dual fueler on it, so it has that line coming off. But in a stock truck, you're going to have this plug in the back of there. And the factory one has a spring in it, and it tends to get weak and open, and that's going to dump your fuel pressure, so you're not getting...
So that would be on 05 to 2000, 04.5 to 2010 trucks. So if you have that problem on 04.5 to 2010 trucks, that's definitely a potential issue right there. I'll take that from you so you don't have to hold it. Okay, so we got the fuel pressure relief valve plugged. We got a lift pump on the truck. We got fresh fuel filters. I still got an 0087 code.
Yeah. Then, I mean, obviously, we're still in the high pressure side because we know we have low side pressure. We know that the relief valve's in there.
Yep.
It's really looking at the injectors in the pump, how many miles are on the truck, what it's used for, to really try and get in depth and diagnose. Is the pump failing and can't keep up, or are the injectors getting old and returning too much fuel? And the first, not really the most cost effective, but the easiest and best thing to do is pull the injectors and have them tested. Because if you put a pump on the truck, you're just throwing parts at it. If you pull the injectors out, you're looking at a few $100 to have them tested. You'll know if it has high miles. you know, you're going to want that peace of mind. So I usually go in that route.
I mean, we've troubleshot enough of these things where kind of judging by the answers you give to a few questions, we can tell you roughly, you know, what the odds are. And I would say LBZ used to tow hard over 150,000 miles, and it only throws an 0087 code in the heat at the top of a hill under a hard pull. You're looking at probably injectors that are getting old and tired. And they pull the injectors out, send them to us, we can test them. If you're getting an 0087 code anytime you hit the throttle in the truck, that's usually a CP3 pump going bad, and you can test that pretty easily with a scan tool by commanding max rail pressure at idle. If you can't get it, the CP3 pump's probably bad. Those are the two main fuel system failures that I run across.
Absolutely.
Injectors are very expensive. Pumps are not cheap either. So you want to make sure that you do the easy stuff first and knock that out, because you don't want to be spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to replace injectors.
Correct, yeah.
Anything I missed?
I think pretty much covers it.
Pretty much got it. Cool. I'm Nick.
I'm Bob.
We'll see you next time.